Hello everyone and welcome to Steve's Indies. Today I'm going to be talking about my Oscars 2022 predictions. Before we start, I just want to say that I was very close to not making these videos. For the month of March, it's actually been really difficult to try and make these, just because of what's going on at the moment with Ukraine and everything else. It's almost like the least that we should be thinking about is like award ceremonies and things like that. And I love film, but it's not exactly the most important thing at the moment. So But I decided to do this video because at the end of the day, people do need that kind of escape, and I'm not being paid to do this. So for me, it's just a way of, you know, just kind of forgetting about everything. There's also a second thing that I'd like to talk about. If you haven't realized recently, I read on Variety magazine actually that this link that said that the Academy won't air all categories live for the 94th Oscars telecast, which means that several major categories are being taken out. This was another reason why I wasn't going to do this video. Despite all this month I've been watching the films and I've been working really hard to try and bring out a predictions video, this really angers me. Now, their attempt to do this was because they wanted to bring in a more tech-savvy audience to the Oscars. Lots of millions of people have been dropping out and not watching it, and it's not been as popular as it was in the past. Now, in my opinion, that is not due to the fact that some of these categories are boring. I think that it's because it's become highly politicized, and at the moment I don't think it can be. And I mean, it always will be. I'm not naive, and it is a business, so they wanted to cut those bits out for a reason. But again, I'm dead against this. And for example, categories like, I believe, short documentary and live action, costume and makeup, they are being shortened. So what's gonna happen is they're only going to be presented the day before, or I think it's during the night but in short increments. So we'll get snaps of them receiving their award, but because they're not as important, they're not going to be televised live. This has received massive backlash, rightfully so, especially to people that actually love film. And it is quite shocking. I mean, this is a quote from the Academy President David Rubin, who's the asshole in this situation. After carefully listening to feedback and suggestions from our film community, our network partner, and all those who love the Oscars, it was evident we needed to make some decisions about the broadcast that are in the best interest of the future of our show and our organisation. I've heard a lot of shit in my time, but this is not for film lovers. It's certainly not in the best interest of the people that are making these films, and without them, this wouldn't exist. So, but like I said, I'm dead against this, and if it gets any worse, I will not be doing these videos. I will not be bringing recognition to the Oscars, despite the fact that some of these films are absolutely fantastic, and of course, they're independent. A lot of them are independent, and they've been doing really well and dominating the Academy Awards. So, right here, I have on my phone my predictions. If I just go through some of the categories and then tell you what's going on. If you haven't already seen them, there are other Oscar videos that I've done throughout March. It's my seasonal videos that I do, so please go ahead and watch them. There's the 5 Oscar snubs for actors and also the most shocking moments as well. So they're really good ones to watch. Also, thank you for the 300 subscribers. I know it's not like a massive amount in terms of YouTube, but I'm really happy for that. So thank you for subscribing if you have, and I hope you enjoy these videos. Again, another thing I just want to say, I've not seen the BAFTAs or Golden Globes. That sounds shocking, but I haven't seen any of the results. I don't usually do this because what I like to do is I like to go in and watch these films and then make my own predictions without knowing the other results. The only one I do know is that Troy Kotsur won for Best Supporting Actor. That's the only one I do know, so I will admit that one. But in general, these are completely my predictions, and it's just a bit of fun at the end of the day. Now, how I've done this is I've split them into 2 categories: films that I want to win and films that I think will win. Now, the ones that are most important and are going to get me points is the ones that I think the Academy will choose to win. What I want to win is irrelevant, but I will mention them anyway, and just for time's sake, I'm just going to go over these quite quickly. So I'm just going to go through the predictions, and I'm going to include all of the bloody nominations. I'm not just going to like rule them out just because they're apparently not as important. Shocking decision. Okay, so we're just going to go through the nominations from where they've done them now. So first off is actor in a leading role. In this category, I wanted Will Smith to win for King Richard. He had this fantastic portrayal of the Serena and Venus Williams father and how he taught them how to play tennis, and I thought he was brilliant, especially after watching an interview with the real Richard. So he's the person that I want to win. However, for who I think will win, I've gone for Benedict Cumberbatch for The Power of the Dog. The very first film that I saw in this list, there was something that was very, very haunting about his performance. He was perfect for the role. He makes you kind of really uncomfortable a lot of the times, and I think that's the way that he was portrayed. Kind of like a different cowboy in that situation, but I've gone for him. Now onto actor in a supporting role. Like I said before, I know that Troy Kotsur won for the BAFTAs. Honestly, going into this, he's the obvious for me. I thought J.K. Simmons might have done something different in being the Ricardos, because that's quite a performance-led film at the moment. But he wasn't as good as Troy Kotsur. Troy Kotsur was funny. He brought something different to the role. And the film is obviously about a child living under sign language parents. He was so likable and funny, and I really do think that he's going to win. He's been a bit naughty lately, though. He got into a bit of a drunken slur over a radio or something recently. But I want him to win, and I think he will. So actress in a leading role. For me, this was one of the hardest categories apart from Best Picture. I went for Jessica Chastain for her performance in The Eyes of Tammy Faye. I think she will win, and I do want her to win as well. It was so close. Every single film that I saw, that I said, oh, that she's winning it. Olivia Colman's going to win it for The Lost Daughter. She was brilliant. Next up, I saw Nicole Kidman's portrayal of Lucille Ball. She was so good. I thought she was going to win it. Nothing could top that. And then suddenly, Jessica Chastain for her Tammy Faye performance was absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I think she's going to take it. So actress in a supporting role. Again, another tough one. Every single film I watched, Kirsten Dunst is going to win. Ariana DeBose is going to win. Jessie Buckley. It's going to be a close one, but I've gone for Ariana DeBose. I've gone to her because I feel like she was I feel like her role was very multi-talented, and there was a particular scene where she was captured by the Jets, and I think she initially I was thinking, oh, she needs to do something slightly better to make me think she's gonna win, and then suddenly she did, and it was this emotional scene where she got captured and then rescued. It was brilliant. She made it interesting. I wanted Jessie Buckley to win. She's as close to a young version of Olivia Colman. That Leeds accent. I think she's from Ireland as well, so that's very brilliant to do a Yorkshire accent like that, and she was as close. Kirsten Dunst was also very good. I didn't think Judi Dench gave enough for me, but she was obviously brilliant. Animated feature film, easy one for me. The Mitchells versus the Machines. I wanted it to win, and I think it will win. It was hilarious, so funny and so artistic. I love the little kind of like drawings as well that sort of added to it, like a kind of a scrapbook. I love the story as well. They're sort of a silly family trying to fight off, save the world about these machines as well. I loved Luca, and Flea we'll talk about later. It's also a very spectacular one. It wouldn't surprise me if that did win. Not a fan of Encanto or Raya and the Last Dragon. They were okay, but Luca was a very strong Disney one if you were going to go for the Disney choice. Another impressive thing about that is that it's a Sony as well, so you'd think that Disney have a leg up with a lot of these animations. Their arsenal to kind of complete these amazing animations is good, so that's another impressive thing as well. Cinematography was a tough one. Dune was my favourite throughout. I saw Nightmare Alley, I saw Power of the Dog, I saw West Side Story. Didn't impress me as much as Dune until I saw The Tragedy of Macbeth, and I got massive Seventh Seal vibes in 1957. Very similar. It's probably one of my all-time favourite 1950s film. It's so stylized, it's so well written, and that kind of stage performance and the shadows, the black and white, that noir feeling as well. Some of the shots in The Tragedy of Macbeth were brilliant, and they captured Denzel Washington and a lot of the other actors in it in a very unique way. So Tragedy of Macbeth is my choice. Moving over to costume design, I'm not gonna lie, I did not see Cyrano and I did not see Cruella. So this one and hairstyling, I'm a bit. So I went for Dune because I saw Dune and I loved something that was very noticeable was what they were wearing, and yeah, I'm going to go for Dune. Okay, directing. This is where it gets really interesting. This is where you can win or lose in these kind of situations. To pick the best director, the best picture, and the best screenplay. If you get one wrong, chances are you're usually going to get all of them wrong. So this was a really tough one for me, and I had to go back again and again and again. I think Jane Campion's going to take it for The Power of the Dog, and I'm going to say it now. I don't think it's going to be a clean sweep, but I'll talk about that in a minute. I did think she was very good in that film, and I just feel like she's going to take it. But everyone in that category is so strong. I really loved Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. The way it's so difficult to direct it or a musical. It just is. It was brilliant. So I wouldn't be surprised if anybody else wins that category. But for me, it's Jane Campion. Now, one of my favourite categories, documentary feature. So for me, I have gone for Flea to win this one, and I do want it to win. I think it will win. The story of a refugee's life in Kabul in Afghanistan, and sort of realising that he was homosexual in the 80s. I absolutely adored the animations, and it basically just follows this perfect story of him retelling the story to the filmmaker, and almost like therapeutic kind of way. Absolutely brilliant animations, and I'm not surprised that's been nominated in that category. Worth mentioning that Summer of Soul was very, very good. I personally didn't realise that there was a festival in Harlem as important as that. Some really good acts. Not my kind of music, but it's that the way that was just forgotten about was really incredible. So if that does well, it wouldn't surprise me. Again, another one, Attica, absolutely shocking. It was about the prison in 1971, and it was taken over by the prisoners, and they took 39 hostages. The ending of that was absolutely horrific, and I can't believe it exists at all. Really shocking. Ascension wasn't really for me. I get it. I get the idea of sort of the rise from working in a sort of a workshop in China all the way to there's like millionaires and stuff, but it didn't really do it for me that much. So it was between Summer of Soul and Flea, and I went with Flea. Oh god, a lot of talking. Okay, documentary short, really good category, so overlooked at times. This one's being snubbed, absolute shocker. These ones need to be televised because they're so important, and that's the reason why my choice is Lead Me Home. It was a brilliant 40-minute documentary on Netflix. Please go and watch it. It's about the epidemic of homelessness in San Francisco, LA, and another city I can't remember. But the filmmakers follow 7 or 8 different people, all with really interesting backstories. It's really sad, and I love the way that they combine the footage of this decadent homeless. It's quite unbelievable, and they use a lot of landscapes and skyscapes. Skyscapes, is that the word? And it combines with, like, then it suddenly shoots to middle class people in a restaurant or in a hotel or something like that, and it really does show you that they are living so close to rich people, and not enough is being done, and they're kind of being forgotten about. That is a really important documentary. I really liked Audible and The Queen of Basketball. I thought they were really fun to watch. Really great ones. Again, important. When We Were Bullies, I didn't watch. I couldn't watch it. Couldn't get hold of it. But The Songs of Bashir, 3 Songs of Bashir was on Netflix. That one was really good. It's 22 minutes, and it's about a guy that wants to join up with the army, can't, turns to drugs, and I think that happens a lot in Afghanistan. Really sad, but really good. It was between that and Audible, but Lead Me Home takes it just because of its importance. I can't believe we're talking about this category being snubbed. Film editing. It's my profession, so I should get this one right. If I don't, I'll hold my hands up. I went for Don't Look Up, did I? Yeah, I know I went for Don't Look Up. No, I didn't. Hang on a minute. Oh, it was so close. The reason why I said that was because it was so close. I watched Don't Look Up and I thought this has to win Best Editing. It has to. There's no comparison until I saw Tick Tick Boom. The idea of putting 2 images together in Don't Look Up is it almost conditions us. We associate, I don't know, like say someone licking their lips, for example, matched with a picture of a hamburger or a picture of like a hot chocolate or something like that, and we associate that with hunger, don't we? And Don't Look Up did that in very good fashion with a lot of different things. I think it's called like the Tarkovsky method or something, or anyway. But Tick Tick Boom did that, and it also does what I think is a very important skill in editing. It combines the audio as well, so its pace is what I look for, and there was, because it's kind of like a musical, it was Andrew Garfield singing like do 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 do, and it would cut, and it would do 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 do, and there was a cut every kind of 3 seconds or so, and I thought that was a really, really good skill, and it kept it going, and it was brilliant. For me, Tick Tick Boom's going to win that one. International feature film, we don't need to speak about this that much. Any film that is nominated in both international feature film and best picture usually picks up international feature film. However, there are some very good films in this category. Flea, it's been nominated so much. I love that film. The Hand of God is about a boy growing up in Napoli. The Worst Person in the World, I've heard very, very good things about it. I haven't seen it, so don't judge me. I want to because it's very revered. But Drive My Car is the winner in this one. It just is. Makeup and hairstyling. Again, like I said before, a category I'm not really too sure about. I am going to go for Eyes of Tammy Faye for the winner. I do think it deserves to win as well. Now, I haven't seen Cruella or House of Gucci or Coming to America, but the way that they went from the 1960s all the way to like the 1990s, and the makeup and hairstyling was brilliant. Andrew Garfield's, you could tell that he was getting older. The way that they've sort of stylized Jessica Chastain's hair as well to match the different versions of Tammy throughout her life was brilliant. So I think that one's going to pick it up. Original score. This one's quite difficult at times because I don't know what songs have been nominated particularly. There's quite a few in the film. I did look into it and I did listen again. I'm going to go initially I was going to go for The Power of the Dog, Johnny Greenwood. I love that track. This kind of a strings, like an awkward, horrible, invasive kind of soundtrack, like a western. But I'm going to go for Don't Look Up for this one, and I can't believe I'm going to go against Hans Zimmer because he's a legend, but Don't Look Up is the winner for me. It was just chaotic, and it was a lot of jazz and a lot of it was a soundtrack that I could associate with the absolute carnage in Don't Look Up, the end of the world kind of thing. So Nicholas Britell is going to win it for that. Original song for me, so this is where I might start to lose points. Best original song. It's usually something, it's not like the score, it's usually with song and lyrics, and it's usually by an artist, quite well known. Speaking of, we've got Beyonce and Billie Eilish in this category. I did listen to the Encanto. Again, I wasn't a massive fan of that one. Down to Joy was a good one from Belfast. I love that film, but not for me. For me, it's between Beyonce and No Time to Die. I loved any James Bond soundtrack. I really want Billie Eilish to win this one, but for me, I think Beyonce Knowles is taking it for Be Alive and King Richard. I think it was just a song that really spoke to the film, and that's why I'm going to choose it. Whereas, it's hit and miss with James Bond songs at the Oscars. So for me, Be Alive is going to win that. So we're going to skip over Best Picture just for now because I'll leave that to the end. Production design, I went for West Side Story. I feel like it is going to pick up a few of those kind of awards. I don't think it's going to do very well. I can't believe I just said that. If you snap me if it wins Best Picture, but I love the production design because, and the reason, it's difficult because Tragedy in Macbeth, now you think about it, was very stage-like as well. But West Side Story for me was as close to a stage performance film as you're possibly going to get. It was almost like, you know, when you go to the theatre and you see the curtains just kind of crawl in on each other, and then suddenly it opens and there's like a different set and everything. That's the kind of vibes that I got from West Side Story, so that's gonna take it for that one. Short film animated. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch these, but I did see Robin, so that could lose me a point, or I could get an easy guess in there, but Robin's gonna take it. I couldn't find them. That's one of the reasons why I didn't watch them so much. Short film live action. This one's quite interesting because I think for me, On My Mind is going to win. Martin Strange Hansen and Kim Magnuson. I just thought it was the best one, really. I don't really know what constitutes as a good short film live action, but it could set the stage for their future in filmmaking. So On My Mind for that one. Sound, what did I put for sound? Oh yeah, I put West Side Story for sound because it was either that or Belfast. There's this particular scene in Belfast when it's right at the beginning when Buddy, I think his name is, or something, with the main kid, and it's walking down the street, and suddenly it just kind of goes quiet, and then there's this drumming and this sort of echoing shout that just sort of appears in. It was very close, this one. But for me, West Side Story is going to take this one. It is a musical. A lot of the action scenes as well combined very well with the sound. It's almost like a comic book kind of fashion the way that happens. Visual effects, I went for Dune. Loved the visual effects in this. One particular visual effect that kept popping up was the sandworm in the dunes. It was fantastic, and seeing it on the big screen as well made me like that even more. This one will be tough though, because Shang-Chi and Spider-Man have been snubbed this year. Spider-Man's been massively snubbed for its box office success is huge. It could win it for that, so I could be wrong, but for me, Dune's going to take it because it's more revered critically, might I say. Now, onto the very important parts. Best adapted screenplay. These ones can make or break your decisions in what you're going to choose. Like I said in previous videos, if you win Best Director and then your film also is nominated for Best Screenplay and it wins in either original or adapted, chances are it's going to go on to win Best Picture. So that's the most fascinating thing. If a film wins these two categories, there's going to be a cheer, because usually a film does win. So usually you do hear this kind of audible cheer from the audience, which is quite funny. I only got a nose. My nose is a bit blocked, sorry. So if I'm a bit drony, then that's why. This is a very, very tough one. And this might be a shock. The whole way through this, the month of March, I was certain that Jane Campion would pick up director, adapted screenplay, and therefore Best Picture. I'm not going to say that this time. Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Lost Daughter was brilliant for her first feature-length film. Drive My Car, Ryusuke Hamaguchi stands a very good chance in this category, and it would not surprise me if he wins again. A lot of people didn't back Parasite and that one. So for me though, it was hilarious. And it's so well written. CODA, Sian Heder, for me, is winning this category. I can't really describe it. I thought that the words that they used and the characters, each individual character, member of the family, the scene where, this might be a bit of a spoiler, where she sort of, her and her friend go and they study for the song that they have to sing at school. They're sort of interrupted by noises from her parents who are having sex in the next room. This scene is hilarious when they go downstairs, and it's like a kind of an intervention scene, and it's so funny. And Troy Hotzer's kind of like explaining, I don't know, like all these like sexual stuff. I don't know what's. It's so funny. But that wasn't just it. It was just so good to watch. It was another scene as well, which I thought the adapted screenplay worked well on, was she had just finished her audition to get into university, and she was on the car with Troy at the end, her dad, and she was kind of like describing how this, because he can't hear the song that she's singing, she was describing through sign language what it was like, and I just thought that was brilliant, and it didn't dawn on me that much, and the more I think about it, CODA's going to take home adapted screenplay. As for best original screenplay, this one was very difficult as well. Two films that stand apart for me. Again, I haven't seen The Worst Person in the World. Joachim Trier has done really well there, so I could be caught off guard a little bit. Don't Look Up was so good. So good. The screenplay was so funny for a lot of different reasons, but for me, Licorice Pizza, I usually go for screenplays, I don't know if you know, that are more funny. They add so much to a certain character, and in, I don't know, like 5 minutes of a scene, it just does so much for you. There was a scene where Bradley Cooper comes into it for a bit and is talking to the main guy in it. Always forget their name, sorry, but he was just talking about how, right, he needs to do something right, and if he doesn't, he's going to cut off his balls or something like that, and it was just so funny. But yeah, I just think Paul Thomas Anderson really knocked that one out of the park. I'm gonna kick myself if Don't Look Up wins, because it was so close between them. For me, original screenplay is Licorice Pizza, and therefore adapted, like I said, it wasn't a clean, oh hang on, where is it, and therefore now Best Picture. I didn't think it would be a clean sweep. I still don't think it will be. Jane Campion will pick up Best Director, CODA is going to pick up Best Adapted Screenplay, and I also think that Best Picture is going to be won by CODA. I'm saying it now, that's my decision. It was original, it was unique, the screenplay really stood well for it. It's not just because, and a lot of people might think this when it wins, it's not just because of the sign language and its how it adapts to kind of go onto the big screen. I really, really do think it deserves it. There are so many good films in, like, King Richard was brilliant when I watched it. Licorice Pizza's screenplay, again, very strong. It could win. It's between The Power of the Dog and CODA, but this is the hardest category other than Best Actress, because Drive My Car could win it as well. For a 3-hour film that I wasn't enjoying, I got to the end of it and I thought, this is special. This is a very special film, and it's Japanese, and it opens up a lot of avenues for Asian cinema to come into. Parasite did it originally, but for me, CODA is picking up Best Picture. Okay, so there we have it. Sorry that it's such a long video. Thank you so much for listening to this video. Please stay tuned next week sometime when I upload another one similar to this, and it will be my reactions. Not live, but there will be my first time reactions to the results, and then I'm gonna look back and see how well my predictions did. I'm also going to be scoring it as well, so what I like to do is I like to go against the critics. Alex Zane, I'm hoping, is going to be hosting this year, like he does the UK one anyway, every year, and I like how they kind of have this competition to see who does well. So for me, a lot more important things going on in the world at the moment. I'm sick to death of people taking chunks out of the Oscars at times. At the end of the day, it's escapism, and it's not the most important thing, but I love film, and it's a way of escaping from everything. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. And on that note, take care, everybody.